Good afternoon, everyone. Afternoon. Much better. I'm Maria. I'm the CEO of Depop, and I'm here with this amazing panel of very successful individuals that have built an empire from their bedroom. So before I go into the questions, I wanted to introduce the panel. Of course, I don't think they need introduction, but I wanted to tell you a little bit about themselves. We're going to start with Bella. Also known as Internet Girl. It's going to be a long. Originally from Manitoba, Canada, she started buying and selling clothes when she was 16. At the age of 20, she opened her Depop shop, and now she has over 500,000 followers on Depop. Her success has allowed her to move to LA, where she opened a studio and hired a team to help her with her Depop shop. And recently, Bella launched her own YouTube series called Trashion, where she discusses fashion trends with a rotating series of guests. Thanks so much for being here, Bella.
Thank you.
Now we're moving to Leo. Leo, you... What a difference. Leo, you are you're one of the most recognizable figures in streetwear. And you're only 16 years old. Very impressive. At the age of 13, Leo opened his Instagram account, I hope I can pronounce it properly, Gali Guy Leo, where he's been wearing curated and rare pieces. And he has now over 700,000 followers. Leo was also the face of Converse, and he lives in Warwick with his parents, and he has basically taken over his family home with his trainers and clothes. Thank you so much. Lastly, we've got Tyler. He's a photographer and lives and works in Brooklyn, originally from Atlanta. He studied film and TV at Tisch. He likes mixing categories such as documentary reportage, fashion photography, and filmmaking. In 2018, he made history as the first Black photographer to shoot the cover of American Vogue with Beyoncé. My whole body is with goosebumps at the moment. Great, so let's get started. Bella, we're going to start with you. You have a massive business on Depop. You're making 6 figures a year. Tell us, how did you do it?
Well, I definitely couldn't do it without Depop. Depop has definitely helped catapult my career. Like, I've been trying to run a brand since I was 16 years old, and when I got onto Depop, it was such like a loving environment, and it definitely helped me excel in a comfortable and just amazing creative space.
Great. Leo, you started when you were 13.
Yeah.
How did it all started?
Well, I guess like when I was 13, 14, I wore this one tracksuit. It was Supreme. It had like butterflies all over it. And I just wore it. I was like, this is sick. I just wore it. I like sat in a bench in a park. They took a photo. And
Who got you that?
Huh?
First of all, how did you get it?
Oh, well, I was in London. Like, I go there all the time, and it was like the drop day when like Supreme was like, when it was like bigger than it, like when it was huge and like people would queue like camp when camping was allowed. And I guess like one of my friends just got it for me, and I put it on. And then they took a photo, and it just like blew up. And it just kept happening. Like I wasn't like, yo, I need this to happen. I just kept wearing it, and it just happened. Like I was just wearing clothes. It's crazy.
there was a moment where you're like, wow, there is something happening here? Like,
No, the craziest part is when someone came up to me and asked me for a photo, and I was like, what? Like, I just wore like a tracksuit on a bench, and now someone's like, can we have a photo? That's when I was like, this is crazy.
Incredible. Tyler, how about you?
When I was 16, 15, I was a skateboarder, and I used to be known in Atlanta as like a filmmaker who would film skating. So it was a good segue into like fashion photography, because I would basically film all my friends skateboarding and upload the videos to YouTube, and then I made music videos for people like Kevin Abstract and like people like that. And yeah, then just snowballed into whatever it is
One after
now.
the other?
Yeah.
Great. There's a beautiful quote from you that says, there was a ladder for the people who came before me, and there's a ladder now. It's just a new ladder. I want to open the eyes of the kids younger than me, show them that they can do this too. Tell us, what is this new ladder and how different it is from the old ladder?
I think there I was talking about the idea that as an artist or a creative person, you had to like, our parents and our parents' parents had to like work up a very sequential, orderly like level of things. Like I was thinking about photographers who you have to shoot for this magazine to get to that magazine, you have to shoot for that magazine to get to this magazine. And so I guess I was applying the new ladder, saying with the internet and with creativity now, we're in such an anarchic moment that you can really make your own destiny. And I guess that's what I was saying.
Yeah, you all make it sound super easy. But I am sure you had a lot of challenges along the way. Can you tell us some of them and how you overcame them, Leo?
Wow, the main one for me was like haters, obviously. Like online, like you can't avoid them. But like when I was younger, it used to affect me way more because I was still like a kid, and when someone would say something mean to me, like when you're online, you can't say like, oh, I'm gonna tell my mum. Like you can't do it. Like if you reply, they're not gonna see it. So you kind of over time just keep seeing it, and you're like, okay, but like they're commenting on your stuff, you're actually doing well, and all they're doing is investing their time into you. So at the end of the day, like you're winning. Like the haters are losing. So period. But yeah, that was like the main one for me. And then other things was like even my friends like years ago were like even like a limitation, but you gotta realize like you can't be friends with them if they're gonna like hold you back. And yeah, hate and friends, just find the friends that really root for you, and if they do, stay with them, and if they don't, cut them out.
Good advice. Bella.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Leo. You have to grow a very thick skin just being online and running an empire from your bedroom. You'll get like a lot of hate, but you have to think about the people who are giving you the hate as well. And like a lot of those people don't have a pedestal to be telling you that in the first place. So you just have to know who you are, and that's the most important thing.
Definitely. I think you mentioned that the best advice you can give to people to find good vintage is patience. Would that also apply to building an empire from your bedroom?
Totally, yeah. Like I wouldn't say that it was super fast paced for my brand to grow. Like it was, like I'm 23 now, like obviously doesn't seem like that long from 20, but I've been trying to do this since I was like 16 years old, so patience is definitely key, not only in the thrift store, not only when you're flipping through those racks, like in every aspect of life.
Cool. Tyler, tell us about your challenges, if any.
Where?
Challenges that you had to overcome.
I mean, being a photographer is a huge challenge. But I mean, I guess for me a big challenge was moving here from Atlanta. It's hard to leave like something that's comfortable to you. And I came here for school, and I guess like that was, I mean, paying a lot of money for the American school system is a challenge. So that's, I'll just leave it there.
Great. There's another great quote from you that says, I try and make works that could function as therapy for some people. What's that therapy?
I guess my work's very autobiographical. It's not very open. It's about blackness. So it's not really it's not very open. It's therapy for me. It's autobiographical, and so I make a lot of work that kind of envisions young black men and women kind of as I want to see them in the world. So that is just that's that.
Very interesting. Now, you're all super successful already. So tell us, what is next? Leo.
Okay. Yeah. For me, like since even from being like 8 years old, I've always done something like so weird that like no one else has done. Like, I don't know. Does anyone know those things called morph suits? They like go all the way over you. You know them, right? Yo, when I was 8, I was on the beach in Brighton. It's called. It's in England. And it was like 30 degrees, and I was in this suit, like dancing to music in my headphones. Like, if you could show a photo, I wish you could right now. I was like a freak. Anyway, for me, I just want to stay like that and like go on to do something like this for me. So like DJing, I love music, TV, something else. Just being like a personality is what I want to do. And because I'm still young, like the options are still there. I haven't got my mind like I want to do this, because if I do, then I just feel like it'll fuck up. Do you know what I mean? So I just want to be free, but also have like a vague direction, which is like TV, DJing, just like an all-round personality, what I kind of have now.
Cool. You mentioned that this fame that you currently have already hasn't really sunk in. Has it yet, or you're still?
Well, because like like growing up, I've always just been like, I hate the word normal, but like just a teenager, do you know what I mean? Just like playing out with his friends or whatever. So like when this has happened, it's still weird. Like when people come up and ask for a photo, I'm like, this is super weird. Or like even people listening to me now, I'm like, why do you want to listen to me? Like it's so weird. But it's still getting there. I think it will sink in eventually. Maybe give it a few years and we'll be there.
Great. Bella, what's next for you? You have your own line. Where are you taking it now?
Well, I just want to continue growing iGirl and be able to fit in time for the iGirl bundle, the Styled by iGirl bundle that I was telling you about, and my personal designs, and just move into more clothing pieces. By the end of 2019, I'm gonna have a whole clothing line, which I'm really excited to launch.
They are also really excited.
And within the next month, I'm gonna have my first handbag, so I'm excited about that. So many exciting things. I'm just so stoked.
Amazing. Tyler.
What's next?
Yeah, you've done so many things already. At the age of 23, you had first cover in Vogue. Like, what else can you do after that?
There's lots to do.
Tell us.
There's lots.
Cool.
I think
Very suspicious.
I think lots of movies to be made. And I also think, I was just thinking about your question about challenges more. Because I think the biggest challenge I was thinking of was to kind of be accepted by fashion in a way. I was thinking more about how I used to do a lot of music videos and kind of be more of a music and escape person. But fashion was always something I was kind of always knocking on the door of, but never really getting let into. And I don't know what clicked or what happened there, but I think the world of fashion and the veils around it for me like started to open up once you just kind of like really you just have to keep knocking. Like I thought for me it was really about like a perseverance. So I was just thinking about your challenges question.
Yeah, I can see it.
But there's lots to be done. Like
Good, very good. Perseverance. Great. Could you tell us a little bit about what's a normal day for you? What does it look like? Leo.
That's daydreaming.
I think you're thinking about the challenges, right?
Yeah, so many things in my head. Wait, there's like 2 days I can have. So if I'm at home in Warwick, like I like wake up at like 9, have a cup of tea, then like.
Words, English.
Yeah. It sounds like I'm lying, but I drink like 5 cup of teas a day. And then, but usually when I'm home, I'm there to like chill out and like distance from London. So I might like go and see some home friends, or just hang out. But if I'm in London, I'll like wake up early, go out, like maybe like do a job, or like it's Fashion Week now in London. So if I was there, I'd be going to like shows. Then at night, like I like to go for dinner. Maybe there's like a party. There's always parties in London, so just go out.
Sounds
And
like
then,
fun.
yeah, it's fun. It's so fun. And then, yeah, repeat until like something like this, where it's a different day.
Do you know where you're gonna post in advance, or it
Oh,
just
yeah.
happens?
I always try and take like 2 pictures a week, whether it's at home or in London. Like my mum takes the best pictures ever. Like she's done so many. She's sick. So yeah, if I'm at home and I need a picture, my mum will take it. But in London, Cora will take it, my manager, or anyone else I'm with. And yeah, just kind of go with the flow and have fun. I try to just like have fun every day and be happy and not like
Good motto.
stay busy.
Good. Bella, what's your normal day look like?
There's so much that happens in a day. So I usually wake up, and I have 2 employees now. So I have one girl that helps me with like shipping and office admin, and then I have another girl who helps me with styling. One's Justin, one's Ruby. So they'll come in at 10 a.m. and then she'll start packages. Me and Ruby will start the iGirl bundle. And for anyone that doesn't know this, Styled by iGirl bundle, it's an international styling service that I provide on my Depop. Basically, anyone from all over the world can purchase any style they want, and I send it to them based on their measurements and catered to their specifications. So we work on that for most of the day, and then we'll try to work on designs and whatever else we could squeeze in.
It's a lot in one day. What about you, Tyler?
I have no typical day. If I'm here in New York, which I rarely am, I'm usually in the studio, which is also my apartment, either working on like putting shoots together, editing photos, after shoots, and if it's not here in New York, it might be having meetings. It's kind of all the things in between that are like boring and unexciting in New York. And then if I'm traveling, it's usually for shooting. So it will be any number of normal photographer things.
Cool. Amazing. Well, there's a lot of young people in the audience that look up to you and want to do the same thing as you, some of them. Is there any particular advice that you would give them besides perseverance and believing in yourself and what you already mentioned?
I kind of like dippled into it a little bit, but what I would say, like, if you want to like be a brand yourself or like make a brand or whatever, learn to like I don't want to sound like cliche, but like love yourself and like know yourself before you like go and do it. Because if you're like comfortable with who you are and you go online and people like hate on you or whatever, you're not gonna care because you know that you're cool. Do you know what I mean? But if you go into it like a little bit self-conscious and like I don't know if I should do this or that, then like what people say is gonna get you down quickly. So
Confidence.
Yeah,
And
just
how do
confidence.
you get that confidence?
no, it's easier said than done. Like just saying, "Oh, I'll be confident." But I think just like kind of every day, like if you don't go out the house much, try and just go out more and like wear something. Like if you're thinking of an outfit you want to wear, but you're scared to wear it, like one day maybe wear the hat, the next day wear the top, the next day wear the trousers. But then by like Friday you're in the full fit. Like,
Good.
you know what I mean?
Good analogy. I like it. Bella.
I just wanted to say that no matter where you're coming from, at home or internally, no matter what you've struggled with, like, I believe in you, and I know that you're gonna persevere and do exactly what you wanna do. Create that brand, design that shit, do it. Because I've suffered with a lot of mental illness in my past, and you can definitely get past it. And as long as you have the right community and right platform, like Depop is so great to express yourself, like, you can do it.
Amazing.
I would say, I really like your nail color, by the way.
You usually have
Manicure
like bright
goes
pink.
off.
Huh?
Usually have bright
I
pink.
usually have pink for when I have like a photo show or something, but I like the
you.
multicolor.
I thought you meant mine.
Oh,
He did.
Sparkling
those
blue.
are beautiful too. No, my advice would be to, for me, it was all about the people around me and my community, which was not given to me. Choosing friends and reaching out to people online was a big part of how I started to photograph the people I photograph and work with the people I work with and spend every day with the people I spend every day with, because I would just find musicians, I would find creative people and just start to reach out to them how we organically do now. You know, in the world, I would just do that every day. I mean, my old roommate used to say I would fall asleep with my phone in my hand. So, I mean, I was really kind of all about reaching out to people and like forming a community. And that was the most important, because ultimately, if you don't have, you know, interesting people around, you don't have anyone to photograph. So for me, I'm all about people, community, and yeah, outreach.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see that there's a common denominator across all of you. Perseverance, community, getting help from your surroundings, from your mom as well, who's here. So it's great. Thank you so much. It's extremely inspiring to hear you. We have a bit of time for questions. Do you have any questions for the panel? Great. Raise your hand. Yeah. Can we get a micro, please? Feel free to address the question to one of them.
Hello, my name's Kara. This is a question for all of you guys. I'm studying entrepreneurship at school, and I just want to know, like, what are some challenges and things that you would give as advice to a young entrepreneur about how to, like, get to where you want to be? I know that might be vague, but I can say it's fine.
Cover a little bit of that, but
Okay.
continue.
I don't mean to rain on your parade, but I feel like the best way to go about being an entrepreneur is to be out in the world. Like, I feel like it's one thing that like school can't really teach you, but I'm sure that maybe your program is great. But yeah, I would just say, like, if you have an idea, you just really go for it on your own. And of course, community is great and can help you expand. But yeah, it's really about just going out there and doing it.
Oh, I have something. Right. Whenever you get any money, anything, like $100, $1,000, anything, reinvest it, like put it back into whatever you're doing. Like, even though it's tempting to go out and go crazy on a night out, like, don't do it, because that money you can like keep putting back into whatever you do, or like the business you want to make, or like whatever you're selling, like we did, like reselling or whatever. If you just keep putting it back into what you want to do, eventually it will keep coming. So just be clever with whatever money you get ever, basically.
Reinvest.
Thank you so much.
Tyler, do you feel the same?
I grew up in a family where my dad he was an entrepreneur and had a small business in our basement, and so now I'm kind of carrying out the same spirit, because I mean, I live and work in my house, and photography and just art in general can be a very like, you can get like cabin fever in your house or in your studio. So my advice is small but important. I think I leave bed and I go get a cup of tea and I leave out the house, and I re-enter. I think the separation between home and work for me is about leaving and going and get that cup of tea and restart my day and come back into the studio. So for me, like my dad he would leave bed and he wouldn't look back at his bed for the rest of the day, even though he's working at home. So I think like work, a lot of us are on our laptops or working in our bedroom. So for me, it's about that separation. It's so easy to like just go back to sleep and like, you know, text people from home. So for me, it's a very small piece of advice, but try and form a routine, leave the house in the morning, come back with like a new kind of mindset, and then, yeah.
Thank you.
More questions? Over here.
Hey, thanks. My name is Ahmed. I have a quick question for all of you. So not every day is a positive day. There's days when you get into ruts. So my question for all of you is, what do you use to inspire yourselves to get back into the groove of things and back to creating the amazing stuff you guys do today?
So even though this could seem like, the best thing for me personally is to keep myself distracted. Like, if I'm feeling down and out, I know that I have to go and do something that will make me feel good about myself. And for that, usually it's work. When I feel accomplished in work, like I start to feel better about myself. So if there's like something that you have in mind that you want to do work-wise, I would like go for that, because that will usually get me out of like a dark headspace.
If I wake up and I'm like what you said, like one of those days, maybe I'll just look back like on something that I did recently, like even if it's little, just something that was cool for me and like made me feel like, oh, that's sick, and just think like, oh, I did that. Do you know what I mean? And like remind yourself that you did it, rather than just like sitting there and being like, oh, I'm shit, because you're not. You know what I mean? Just like look, you've got to look back on good things that you did, and then you'll like bring yourself back up, and you'll get out of it in like a day or two. Like it always happens, but it gets over it.
Let the time pass by.
Yeah, I think for me, the thing about like bad days or even being bored is that it's easy to feel that way, but it's actually much easier to kind of remind yourself of everything there's around you to kind of dive into. I mean, my favorite thing is to just give myself kind of a cultural education, whether that's going to museums, thinking about further projects, reading. I mean, I try and nowadays, instead of going on Instagram, just reading the New York Times. Like, it's weird to kind of try and give yourself a cultural education, and it takes effort, but I'm really focused on, I guess, those things as a way of like stopping bad days.
I actually have a side question around that. Like, I'm very curious to know what inspires you, and all of you guys, because when you're having a bad day, sometimes you just need to look at people that you're inspired by and just help you to get back on track. Who do you look up to?
Who I look up to that?
Besides your dad.
I look up to Steve McQueen, Spike Jonze, Spike Lee, let me think, who else? Harry Styles. Yeah. No, but I think in terms of, to answer your question, what really drives me and inspires me, I mean, I guess actually I'm kind of quite driven by a weird imposter syndrome. I moved to New York and really felt like I wasn't going to have as much resources as people here, like I wasn't going to be good enough. And so that, in a weird way, drove me to be like an insane overachiever. So it's not that
I know the feeling.
Hollywood.
For me, like whenever anyone asks this, I always kind of say like everything around me like is always kind of like inspiring me, or like just like random people in the street. There could be someone who looks cool, or like, I don't know, someone helping an old lady cross a road. Like, it's nice. It just makes you like remember to, like, inspires you to be nicer, or inspires you to like wear something else. So there's a few people I look up to, but most of the time, like, I just look around. Do you know what I mean? And then there's loads of like inspiration.
Have to be a celebrity.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
anybody that-
Like, it's right in front of you if you just look and like focus. Yeah.
Interesting.
For me, I pull a lot of inspiration from the 90s and Y2K era. Whenever I'm feeling that I need inspiration, I'll go back and watch like my favorite 90s movie, or like one of my favorite Y2K era series. Like, I love Buffy, I love Roswell, and yeah, I always pull inspo from there. And where else do I get inspo from? My friends. And I just like to create in the world what I don't see. So if there's something that I'm picturing in my head that I don't see, I'm like, I need to create that. So yeah.
Amazing. Cool. More questions from the audience?
Okay, I think almost all of you moved away from home in like your 20s, somewhere around there. When you moved, how were you able to build a community of friends and other people that you now work with, or people who inspire you, people who are focused on doing the same thing that you are right now?
For me, I mean, well, you're only 16. Technically,
Yeah, I haven't moved out
in
yet.
our 20s.
Just yet.
But in moving away from home, honestly, DMing people on Twitter. The first person who I ever reached out to was Kevin Abstract, and despite him living in Texas, we kind of were fans of each other's work and decided that we were going to kickstart $3,500 to make a music video. So even though that's kind of a small, very small budget, we kind of stretched every corner to work together. So I think for me it was about outreach. Again, I keep saying outreach, but you're only as good as the people that you kind of talk to in the grocery store or like message on Twitter or talk to at events like these. Like I think find the people that look interesting to you, that seem interesting to you, and something's gonna come of that when you leave home. I think it's so easy to, it's really easy to just go home, after class or after whatever it is that you have to do, and just to go home and like binge watch a TV show. But I think it's actually about like, especially in New York City, it's about staying out and talking to as many people as you can, and like just pushing yourself that way.
Well, for sure, pushing yourself, like, I so agree. But I had a big move, actually. I'm Canadian, so I recently moved from Canada to the States to continue to grow my brand. And it was a huge move, and I was working on it for a long time because it's not so easy. Like, you have to get a visa and, like, all of that. But once I moved out, like, I feel like I was so driven because I put in so much work to actually be able to save up and move and do all of that, that I was just, like, ready to be in work mode. But yeah, leaving home, you have to be ready for it.
Great. Over here.
This question is more so for Kev. I can't really see you. Once, as you're, rising up with fame, money, things like that, as a black man, how do you, with all those things, still stay in touch with your community? Because a lot of times you see black millionaires, entrepreneurs, as soon as they make it, they dip and they act like, they never went through hard times or like struggle, or they can't relate to a black experience because they have this heightened level of power now. So I guess for me is like, how do you, quote unquote, not sell out and stay in touch with who you are and who your community is? That's my question.
For you.
Okay, all right. 'Cause I was like, I'm assuming I'm the only person on this stage. So, no, I think that's a really good question.
That was funny.
I think that's a really good question, because I guess I don't even think I've really gotten to that point where I can really answer it though. My life has changed in the past years, but I still have the same best friends from Atlanta and from 8th grade and from when I was 14. So a lot of that is that's just wired in the way I am. I really am true to people, and I'm also a bit of a recluse, so, and I have anxiety. So I just very much keep to the 3 people around me. But I think in terms of not selling out or whatever that word could mean, I think you're asking a question specifically from like a black perspective. I think that could happen to anyone, first off. And so I think the cautions with that are, not just about being black, but actually I think it's about just making sure that you have your core values. I like to think of it as a thesis statement. I think it's very straightforward. If you have your thesis statement, and if you're doing anything and you're pointing to your thesis statement and you're saying, well, that's not me, well then I guess that could be considered whatever selling out is supposed to mean. But for me, I think it's about those 2 things: the people and your thesis statement that keep you as just like a roadmap. Like my friend would always ask me, what is it that I want? Well, what I want is to make images that actually allow younger people, younger black men and younger black women to see themselves and feel reflected. So as long as I'm doing that goal, then I'm good. So.
Thank you.
Good. We have time for one more question. Over here.
Wait, I have a quick question for you. Is that a wig? It looks incredible. Thanks. So wait, how did you dye it yellow like that? Wow. Yeah, I want to dye my hair. No, I'm not actually going to dye that color, but that looks sick.
Hi, my name is Gloria. Bella, this question's for you. So I know that you dropped out of college, and my question is, what made you feel like you were making the right decision, and how did you make that leap of faith to expand your brand?
Right, yeah, that was really difficult. But so basically, I was taking a semester off of school at the time, and I was just taking a little mental health break. And during that period, I started using Depop and was just selling my clothes kind of part-time. And then I decided not to go back to school the next semester because I was enjoying it so much, and I was able to show my creativity on there, which I wasn't really able to do in a school environment. And I respect that a lot of people do find that they can excel in a school environment. It was just never for me. And so, yeah, it was really just me focusing on my passion. And I think when you could channel your passion and bring it into a work setting, that's when you'll really thrive.
Amazing. Well, guys, this has been so inspirational. Thank you so much for being here. Big round of applause. I think we're going to have at 6:15, we're going to have Leo.
Yeah, I'm DJing at 6:15, so stick around. Let's dance.
And you're going to be showing us your moves?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.